If you're a financial advisor or life insurance agent looking to build your brand, you're not going to want to miss today's Digital Advisor Weekly.
We are all on a separate journey. But the beautiful thing about our life here on this earth is at my funeral, they ain't going to talk about my success. They're going to talk about who Nick was and how Nick lived and how Nick loved and encouraged.
Success is incredibly important, but even more important than success, it's having an impact. It's knowing you haven't walked the planet in vain. It's knowing that because you've been here, you've blessed lives, you've developed people, and you have made the world a better place.
The effect you have on others is the most valuable currency there is. Everything you gain in life will rot and fall apart, and all that will be left of you is what was in your heart.
Life is a mirror, and life gives us not what we want. Life gives us who we are. When you were born, you cried while the world rejoiced. Live your life in such a way that when you die, the world cries while you rejoice.
My name's Rob Souza, and today we're going to be talking about building relationships in order to build your brand. And of course, there we go. We got it. We're ready to get started. And so I want to start out just by encouraging you to imagine this for just one moment. Imagine that you're at a party and you're mingling, and it's an opportunity to meet other people. Imagine if somebody in the party decides to jump up onto a table and talk about how all of their best attributes, how good they are, all the things that they can add value to a relationship, and of course, how good looking they are. Now, how would that make you feel, or any other person in the room? Of course, it would be a put off. You'd make sure that you note that stay away from that guy because it's embarrassing, it's intrusive, it's annoying. Nobody likes that guy, right? Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy when you build your brand. You want to build relationships the natural way. Another great analogy, I think I've shared it before, and that's if you, in the same party, met a girl, she's beautiful, you like everything that she has to say, and after 60 seconds, 2 minutes of talking to her, you got down on a knee and asked her to marry you. Of course, she'd put you on the creep list and then run the other way and probably put you on the avoid this person at all costs list as well. And that's the way we tend to build brands these days. We interrupt people's lives and then pitch exactly why they should do business with us. LinkedIn is famous for this, where you check your inbox, and I'm not kidding you, 60, 70% of my inbox, I'll accept a connection with them, or they'll accept a connection with me, and the very first email or message, direct message they send me on LinkedIn is about a sales pitch of all the reasons why I should do business with them and all the best things that they do. It's a put off. Please don't be part of that crowd. Don't be the crowd that is making everybody else uncomfortable and spamming everybody else. Be the person who takes the time to build relationships. People say, but Rob, I don't have time for that. Well, there's never been a better time in the history of this business that is so easy to build relationships. Oh, but I hate answering emails. I hate checking my LinkedIn DMs. It's so much spam and yeah, exactly. And so was it when you attended a mixer, or you went to a golf course to meet people, or you coached a baseball team to develop relationships that you could network with. In fact, it was much, much harder back then to develop those relationships. But pitching your service the first time you met them never worked. So why do we think that today it's going to work? Now, I've said it before. If you have a big budget, 100,000 plus budget per year for marketing, or for advertising, then go ahead. Pay the $6,000 and you'll get a room full of people and you can talk about your ideas and your services, and you'll get a handful of appointments and hopefully a couple of them turn into business. That's great. That works too. But if that's not you, if you don't have that kind of budget, then you need to do it the most authentic way possible, most old school possible. And that is building relationships. And I kid you not, at the last conference I was at, I asked somebody about their brand, was in an elevator, and they literally pulled out a card and read to me, and this was, I grabbed this off a similar statement off another website because I don't want to throw this person under the bus because they're in our industry and they know who I'm talking about. And they literally read to me their mission statement, their vision, and their core values right off of a card, not even memorized. Again, total turn off. Mission statements, vision, all of that stuff. I'm sorry, people don't care. I know I don't mean to insult people, but people don't care. They care about what value you have that they share in that value. And if you haven't taken the time to understand what they value, then don't talk about what you value, because that's called advertising. So we're going to take a little bit of a dive into evaluating some of the best brands and talk about relationship building. So again, we're going to talk about relationships and why that is the absolute cornerstone to marketing and why you need to take the time to nurture those relationships. I've said before, pick 10 to 20 of the highest engaged. Now, I'm engaged, meaning we're going back and forth. We're having conversations, and it takes anywhere from 10 to 12 times of engagement for people to even remember who you are. So that jumping up on the table and sharing all that you do and the value you bring, that's advertising. When we're talking about marketing, you need to build the relationships. Okay. Now, part of building relationships is that you have to share your story, and it needs to be heartfelt, authentic, and invite people into your story. Now, the only way that you can do that is if, again, you engage and you get people interested in wanting to know your story. Because if they don't want to know your story, it won't matter. The only thing that matters to people is what matters to them. Unfortunately, that's human nature. And you need to make sure that you have an authentic story that connects with others, and you will draw the right people to you, and they will connect with your story. Okay, so first let's talk about, okay, we're going to go, like I said, a list of brands and their branding statements and talk about relationships. Burger King, have it your way. Now, the question is, does this connect with the audience? And if the audience's belief about food is, look, I just want a burger the way that I want a burger, the way that I prefer a burger. Again, it's about the audience, not about the brand. Burger King is saying it's about you, have it your way. And that's their core mission. Now, it's not, again, it's not focused on Burger King. It's focused on the client. All right, number 2. And these are the top 10 that came, 2022 top 10 branding statements. So I'm just going to go ahead and share those. Apple, still at the top of the list. And that's think different. And I think very much in this country, we have this sentiment about people want to individually have the right to believe what they think, and the ability in America to be able to express that opinion. So this resonates very well with people. All right, Nike, just do it. I think this comes to the core value of all of us in our lives. We struggle with regrets. And I think we are looking for a coach or a guide to motivate us, somebody to encourage us to get off the couch and go do what we know we need to do. That's the essence of a really good financial advisor. Is we become commoditized in this industry. People could use a bank. They don't even need us. They could use the Robinhood app on their phone. Why us? Why? Because we can motivate them to just do it. And that's where Nike really broke out of the crowd of the tennis shoe industry. And I think this resonates with people, and everybody knows this branding statement. All right, Crate and Barrel, beauty and purpose. Now, it's combining two things, of course, and this lends itself to women. Most women, they're 85% prominent female shopper at Crate and Barrel, and every woman wants to be beautiful, and every woman wants to feel like they have a sense of purpose. And so that's why this particular brand statement resonates. Notice that the last four all are focused on the client, not focused on the brand or the individual business owner. All right, Chipotle, food with integrity. So what is it saying? It's saying that when we provide you with a meal, that we're going to do it in an open and honest way, unlike McDonald's, which didn't make the top 10 list. People felt really deceived by McDonald's because their beef ended up not being predominantly beef, and they felt deceived. And so Chipotle is countering that opinion or that perspective and saying, no, you can trust that our food will be exactly what we say it is. And so it's about making people feel comfortable and authentic. All right, so Sonic. I thought Sonic would go away a long time ago. Not my favorite brand, but it lends itself to Americana, nostalgia of America. We all look back to the 1950s and roller skates and everything else, and they've tapped into that particular demographic, and it's America's drive-in. It's your drive-in. If you want that experience, you go to Sonic. Okay, Peloton. This became immensely successful overnight, probably because of the pandemic. And it's motivation that moves you. Again, focused on them, not you. So don't talk about your ideas. Talk about the value that the recipient, that the client is going to receive. And this goes back to what I said before. They are absolutely dying to get somebody in their life to motivate them. They don't need new ideas and new education. They understand what they need to do. They just can't motivate themselves to do it. I can resonate with that. And having somebody or a company that can help motivate you is everything. And that's why this resonates with so many people. L'Oreal, because you are worth it. Are you starting to see a theme? It's not about the brand. It's about the client. It's about the prospect. We bring good things to life. GE. Again, and the insinuation is that we bring good things to you, but opportunity to make life better for you, the client. Now, topping out, number 10, I was shocked by this, that Coca-Cola was number 10, because it's one of the biggest brands across the entire world. And I wanted to highlight this one because, because this is the one brand in the top 10 that didn't focus necessarily on the client. It's saying Coke is it, and it's trying to use the pressure of the crowd and saying, if you want to be in the in crowd, then Coke is it. And so it plays to our sensibilities of ego and pride and wanting to be part of the tribe, and we don't want to be excluded from the tribe. And so, yes, it resonates, but not as well as the other 9 brands I just showed you that are more focused, more intensely focused on what value they bring to the prospect or client. So kind of the takeaway from all of this is it's not about what or how. That's what most of us, 90% of the industry is doing. What or how you can become financially independent, you can retire, not run out of money, reduce taxation, estate planning without having to pay enormous taxes. I mean, I could go on and on, how to take your Social Security. It's not the what or how. And that's the biggest takeaway from today. Please, please, please stop educating and start giving them, talk about morals and values and life lessons that you can add to their life. It's more about the why. Why do we do what we do? Why should somebody get off the couch and call you, schedule an appointment? Why? Are you giving them enough why that they should do whatever it is that you're suggesting they do, whether it's attend a webinar, schedule an appointment with you? Why? Give them the why. And when you do, you'll start to resonate with your prospects and leads. You need to connect with people based on core values. Again, that's the tribal thing about America. You've got to tap into what those core values are and be able to express them in a way that resonates with other people who are looking to connect with you based on shared core values. And if your values don't connect with your target market, you're going to struggle to break through. I've got a great client, and I'm waiting for her enormous breakthrough, Debbie, who's chosen to reach out to private school teachers, female married women in their late 40s and 50s. Their kids have gone off, they're empty nesters, they want to go back to teaching, but instead of the public school, they go back to private school teaching. And in private school teaching, the industry does not provide very robust retirement planning or retirement benefits. And so she specializes in private pensions and private retirements that can be developed by and it's usually secondary because they're married. And so it's a very, very niche market, but the core value is it's a mom who's done her job. The kids are out of the nest and she's going back. And now how does she add value? She can go back to work doing what she did for her career, which is teaching, and then continue to add value to the financial independence for her and her husband and the wealth that they can pass on to the kids later in life. And I think that is a core value that people can get behind. And if she will shout that from the rooftop, I am absolutely certain that she will begin to build a loyal tribe that will follow her anywhere. All right, let your core beliefs guide your brand. And again, figure out what those are. If you have to do some soul searching, if you're not sure, you want to schedule a call with me, schedulewithrob.com. I'd be happy to spend 20 minutes trying to get to the root of what your core values or belief system is that would help you connect with your audience. All right. We talked about this before. People who share your belief will connect with your brand, but you got to figure out what those core beliefs are and figure out how to communicate them to the right target audience that is likely to share your core beliefs. And of course, don't just because you want to connect with a certain group, say you want to connect with CEOs. If you're not a CEO, you haven't been a CEO, and entrepreneurship's not your thing, management or administration is not your thing. I know they may have a lot of money and blah, 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 but the reality is, if it's not something that has been a keen interest of yours, you haven't experienced it, you're going to have a hard time connecting with that audience. You got to be authentic to what your values are, what you connect with. You do that, again, you'll connect with your audience. When a brand finds its soul, and this was a quote from a favorite TED Talk of mine. And so I am Jeffrey, I can't remember his last name. I'll quote it in the end in the notes down below in today's video. But he said, when a brand finds its soul, it will connect with others. And I absolutely, truly agree with that. Again, if you need help finding your core value, what makes you tick, what motivates you, what gets you out of bed in the morning, and then connect that to an audience that is craving that very same thing, you will connect with an audience, the right audience. So what is the moral of the story today? The moral of the story is, if you find that core value, you find what motivates you, you find your why story, and you find the audience that is looking for that particular solution, they're looking for a guide and a coach to motivate them based on those things that they are so desperate for, somebody to mentor them and lead them to what they know they need, but they haven't been able to find the strength within to take that journey to get there and make those changes in their lives. If you can figure that out and connect it with the right audience, you will change people's lives. So dig deep, figure out what it is. And one last time, if you need help, I'm willing to give up 20 minutes of my time to help you find it. And I have a few resources I can give you to help you if 20 minutes doesn't do it. But you can go to schedulewithrob.com, and I'd be happy to talk to you about identifying exactly what inspires you and will inspire your audience and convert your audience into raving fans. Thanks for joining us today. You can subscribe at digitaladvisorweekly.com to get these weekly webinars, or you can go to YouTube. If this is on YouTube, you can subscribe below, follow us, and you'll get these inspirational webinars each week to help you grow your brand.